Musical composition, a brief intro. So when you think of rules, how does that make you feel? We're taught and raised to follow rules. No bikes allowed in the mall. Please stay on the path. Eat your vegetables. They're all important because one of the primary goals of rules is to keep people safe. And some rules are obvious and others are not. Obviously, no bikes allowed in mall is a little bit more obvious. I mean, we wouldn't want to have, hundreds of bicyclists going through the halls and the malls and so on. It would lead to a lot of accidents. And other rules are less obvious. If you've ever heard the expression, rules are meant to be broken, there is some truth to that. It's not that we try to create rules just to break them, but there are sometimes there are rules that are kind of meant to guide us, and eventually we learn other ways to do the same thing, or we learn that breaking that rule that was meant to guide us originally is okay. It's not every rule. There are rules that shouldn't be broken, but there are many that can be broken once we know everything about that idea, in order to stay safe, but to do things well and so on. So imagine for a second. I mean, you think about inventors. They are always trying to make something unthinkable happen, or something that was never thought of before, as a product or whatever. They're trying to invent something, and a lot of times they're meant to try to break a rule. When I think about rules that were kind of meant to be broken, or more so, imagine that we never tried to break a rule. Sometimes we wouldn't make advances in society. For example, going to the moon. Would we ever make it to the moon if rules were not broken? I mean, I don't know all of the rules that were broken to put someone on the moon, but maybe a version of a rule would be that humans can't fly, or humans shouldn't fly, or humans can't breathe in space. And that's true. There's no way to kind of fix that. We can't pump a lot of oxygen into space, nor can we change our lungs to adapt to having no oxygen. But if you found a way around those rules, you can get something incredible done. So they found ways to get people to breathe in space by making a suit that allows them to do that. Right? They created space shuttles and rockets and all of the science that goes behind that in order to put someone on the moon. And if those rules weren't broken, we would never have pictures like this. Well, composing is similar. I mean, composers follow rules, or should we say they create the rules, and then we go back in time and we look at what rules they followed. But they also break them, because music would always be the same, and it would never have kind of evolved if there weren't broken rules in music. We learn rules like theory in order to learn. So we learn that, how to write a scale, and we learn how to find our chords and so on. And that helps us learn. It helps us learn how to write. But eventually we learn which rules can be broken in order to create something never heard before. So the Beatles would have broken rules with their songwriting, and that pushed music in different directions. Well, today you will compose by following some rules, of course. You see, we need to follow rules in order to learn initially. And so that's what we're doing. So we are going to use the theory that we've been doing, like scales and chords, but you're going to also have some choice in that as well in order to write some basic music for now. And we'll add rules or ways for you to break those rules in coming weeks. So if you want to be this happy when you are done, if you want to be this happy after you're done this first kind of composition assignment, you need to follow the next tutorial. So you're going to watch a composition tutorial on the next slide, and that will help you get started with the rules and how to do this.